Hi YouTube. I don't know how long this video is going to be, or, if I'll upload it, but I guess I will. I've just spent the last 5 days reliving my high school years, pretty much. I probably have shared in several videos that I am a major twihard. So obviously you can see I've got my Edward Cullen shirt on that says forever, and I have Alice's necklace from Breaking Dawn Part 2, and I'm wearing my silicone Breaking Dawn Part 2 bracelet. Sorry for my appearance. I thought that I would cry, but anyway, they put the movies back in theaters this week, starting on Wednesday, and I've gone to the theater Wednesday through tonight, Sunday, and it's been an experience just to relive these again. And, I probably shouldn't have been doing it, but I was taking some pictures and some video, um, you know, just to kind of recap everything. But, honestly, they've been out for 20 something years. So, I mean, come on. It's not like it's brand new stuff, and I'm not claiming it to be mine. But anyway, I've been making reels on Instagram and dubbing everything with music from the films, and Facebook and Instagram don't get along very well. So every time that I try to post anything on Facebook from Instagram, I get copyright. So a lot of my stuff is exclusive to my Instagram only. And I know I haven't been on this channel for a while. It's been a weird, hectic few months since I last posted, since the whole situation with Charlie Kirk. But anyway, it's been really nice the last 5 days to just be by myself and go to these movies and just kind of immerse myself in the films. I feel like going to the movies is dying these days because of all of the free with ads stuff on YouTube and all of the streaming services available. You can watch pretty much anything, anywhere. Like Twilight, I've got several copies of the movies. I've got it all over my Apple TV. I can watch it pretty much anywhere I want to, whenever I want to, but there's just something different. And if you're a true Twilight fan, there's just something different about seeing it on a bigger screen with surround sound. I would have to say my two most favorite films in the series are New Moon and Eclipse. I think both those films, all of them were beautifully done, and it's hard to pick favorites. But if I had to pick favorites, it would be New Moon and Eclipse because I love the colors in the films. I love how they were done. I love how it adapted to the book very well. And I don't know, I go back in time when I see those, and I go back to a simpler time. And I saw something online that somebody said in a comment that I really related to, and they said, life was so much easier and simpler when all we had to look forward to was another Twilight movie. And they are so right. Life has changed so much since those films came out. And during the craze, I was at my most shaping years of my life. I went from being a freshman in high school on the first one to a freshman in college on the last one. When the last film came out, I was just starting college and I had just graduated high school. So it came out during a year of a lot of lasts for me, and it was very bittersweet. And I remember watching it and the surprise ending and thinking that it can't end this way. And I had a literal panic attack when I thought that this was going to end the way that it was going to end, because it wasn't matching the book. They basically wrote in one of Alice's visions. And I saw a bonus interview because they re-released these in theaters. They did bonus interviews for every film, and it was tailored to each film. And they were asking Stephenie Meyer and a bunch of the producers. So this was from this year that they did this, about the movie. And they basically put the action scene in the last movie because it's a movie, and they knew that the movie could not end like the book did because there had to be some kind of action to kind of bring everything together. And that's why they wrote it in like that. And basically we all got trolled I'm sure a lot of you remember it well if you're diehard fans like I am. And basically, the last 5 days have been nothing but centering around looking forward to going to see Twilight and, the next movie. And today was kind of bittersweet because it was my last film. It was the last one. And I captured the very last scene on my phone because I just had to. It's just so beautiful the way that they end it. And I don't know, it was just very eye-opening for me. And hold that thought. I'll get back to you guys. I gotta bring the dog inside because we've got coyotes. Okay, I'm back. I apologize for that. I was hearing them outside and I didn't want the dog to be by herself. I'm helping my parents tonight with her. So anyway, I had to go let her in. Where was I? Okay, so, I just think that the films were just amazing back then and they are now, and just seeing them on the big screen again just brought me back. It brought all the emotions back and just all the feels of everything. And part of me is kind of grieving that time of my life too, because I had a best friend that got me into Twilight to begin with, because for the longest time I wasn't going to jump on the bandwagon because I didn't want to be a follower. Because my freshman and sophomore year of high school weren't the greatest. I didn't really go to a school where I was widely accepted. I was constantly put under a microscope and judged. And I didn't want to do what everyone else was doing. I wanted to be different. And for the longest time until I picked up those books, I was different. I didn't, follow the crowd. And so once I picked up the books, I couldn't stop. And my best friend and I, at the time, went to the films and we shared that together and we went to premieres together. And, I'm kind of grieving because her birthday was, yesterday, and I just started to cry a little bit when I was talking to my mom because I was like, if she was still in my life, I'm sure we probably would have gone to the films. Even if she wasn't as diehard as me, she probably would have gone for me. I remember going with her at one point to the last film. I had already seen it. I went with my mom to the midnight premiere, but I went with her that following evening, and I didn't tell her how it ended. And she was totally taken back, and I just watched her face and her reaction, and it was priceless because I said nothing the whole time. I tried to keep a poker face, and it was very hard to keep a poker face, but I'm glad I did because I got to see her organic reaction. And it just kind of makes me miss her when I dive into these things, this series. And there was a time when I bought the Lego house, Lego set for the Cullen house. I was building it, and it was over Valentine's Day this past year, and I dove back into watching the movies, and I reread the books, and I got a little sad because I guess it brought up that time in my life again, and it just made me grieve how life is just not like it was back then. Things aren't as easy as they used to be, and I don't know, it's just really strange to live in the world that we do now, and things were a lot more simpler back then, and all I had to worry about was when the next film was going to come out, and you'd go shopping and there'd be merch everywhere, and now you have to dig high and low for things and hope that you still kept certain things, and if you didn't, you got to hope that you can find it for a decent deal. If not, you're kind of out of luck. Because what they make now at Box Lunch and Hot Topic, in my opinion, are not as high quality as something like this shirt that I got, And they, of course, don't have her clothes anymore like they used to. They used to sell her jacket from New Moon, Bella's jacket from New Moon, and they sold her dress. I have her dress. And at one point, Target had her bedding. I have her bedding. I'm not willing to part with it. I don't use it very often because it's dry clean only. So I try to not use it too much because it's hard to keep something like that clean otherwise. And it's not entirely comfortable, to be honest, but there's still just something about having it that makes me want to still keep it. And of course I have all my old shirts as well as some new ones. And then to end and round this whole Twilight excursion I've gone on in the last 5 days, on Wednesday, I'm going with another friend to Twilight in concert. I've never been to something like this, and basically it's the film, but you're surrounded by 1,000 candles, and an orchestra band will play music as the movie goes on, and they'll play the music that's in the film. So I'm excited to get that. I might put some shorts on my channel from that event, but anyway, that's where I've been the last 5 days. I just kind of went on another nostalgia excursion. I thought I would get super emotional tonight when I went to the last movie, and I kind of did towards the end. I cried a little bit, but not as much as the first time. I think because, I kind of put a little steel wall around me tonight is why I didn't get so sad. But sometimes I do get sad when I watch the ending of that and just realize how different life is. And selfishly, I wanted Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart to stay together. I selfishly wanted that, and I'm sad that that never happened, and their lives are so different now. I don't completely agree with the way Kristen has chosen to live her life, but that's her. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm not her. I'm not God, and that's what happens in Hollywood, right? People change for either the better or the worse. You just never know. And then Robert Pattinson, of course, is with someone else and has a child now, and that's kind of strange to see. And he looks older. I feel like some of the cast looks a lot older now, and the guy that played Harry Clearwater is actually dead now in real life. So, I mean, if they ever did, a revisit or a retelling of the story, they couldn't use him anymore. I don't think they should remake these. I think they are timeless classics, and I don't think they should be remade. I don't think they should be revisited. I think they should leave things alone, but you never know the way Hollywood is and the way people want to make money and earn profits off of certain things. But anyway, that's really all I had to talk about. I'll post more content as I have it. I just think that tonight was appropriate for me to do a little video recap for you guys on where I've been. I can't share in my shorts or anything the footage that I've obtained because obviously I know YouTube will take it down and I'll get in trouble. So I'm just going to stick with dubbing the music that's available on Instagram over my certain pictures and stuff. So if you're a close friend of mine, you know that. You know how to get my Instagram and you know how to find that kind of content. A lot of stuff that I post on my social media is mostly for me anyway. I don't really post it for clout or likes or attention. I just like to post for myself. I don't really care if I get no likes. I still keep it up on my page because I'm a nerd like that. I sometimes just post for, my own enjoyment. But anyway, it's late. Technically, my body clock says it's 11:30 because of daylight savings, even though it's only like 10:30. So I'm probably going to work on winding down for the night. But anyway, it's where I've been the last 5 days, and it's been great. And I'm rounding it off with one last Twilight in concert event on Wednesday. So that should be fun. I'll post footage from that if I can. I know somebody on Instagram did, and so far it's still there, so I'm hoping it'll be okay to do that. But anyway, I hope you guys are having a great weekend. I hope you have a great week ahead, and I'll post more content soon.